You don't need eat carbs to become optimal. Humans doesn't need carbs at all. It is because your body will be get the glucose from the glucogenesis, and your body will do the process of glucogenesis no matter what you eat. For example, a lot of people say if you don't eat carbs, basically your body has to do the glucogenesis process and just use some energy and just like not sufficient for your body. But the thing is, if you eat a lot of carbs, tons of carbs, you eat like 500 grams carbs, 1000 grams carbs per day, and your body will still do the process of glucogenesis the same amount of the people who doesn't eat any carbs at all. So can you think this logically? Which basically there's a people who didn't eat any carbs, and the process in their body doing the glucogenesis will deliver them the glucose that they need. And the other person who eat all the carbs, breakfast eating carbs, lunch eating carbs, dinner also eating carbs, they was like rich in carbs diet, which basically logically they already get the carbs what they need. It's like already above the axis because our bodies literally need 4 grams of glucose, literally 4 grams of glucose. And the other people, like most people eating like what, 1000 gram, 500 grams of glucose, which basically is gonna like be glycating in your body, which basically you'll be more aging. Can you imagine the people who eat carbs, their bodies still do the process of glucogenesis, which basically the process of the glucogenesis is literally similar, same amount of the people who didn't eat any carbs at all. So no matter what you eat, your body will be turn this on, which are glucogenesis. Your body will do the glucogenesis process, even though you eat no matter what you eat, bro. You eat high carbs, your body will make the glucogenesis process. You eat low carb, which also the same. Your body will also produce the glucogenesis. But the problem with that is all the part of the glucogenesis process is basically the same amount, literally. Even though in this diet, the other people, right, they have like rich in carbs, but the glucogenesis process, the amount that glucose given to your body through glucogenesis, still the same amount with the people who didn't eat any carb at all. So basically, there's no reason for you to eat carbs, any carbs. If you are in a low carb diet, which basically you have some dairy, you have some milk, then it's absolutely fine. But the thing is, don't exceed 50 grams of glucose per day, 50 grams of carbs specifically per day, not per lunch, per eat, whatever it is per day, which basically you're trying to minimize to eat the carbs. But if you had like no carbs at all, that is also like absolutely perfect. But if you want to do a low carb diet, which specifically below 50 gram of carb per day, which are you only like consume dairy, milk, yogurt, specifically dairy product. Why is doesn't essential? Why carbs aren't like essential to our bodies specifically? Because it can cause like glycating if you like eat too much. If you have like excess glucose, which that means is you eat a lot of carbs that already exceed 50 grams, which basically the glucose will be like glycating around your body, which basically can bind the protein and also the glycogen. So basically you will be a lot more aging. The thing is, if you are still young, you are like 20 years old, like maybe like 30 years old like that. The thing is, it takes years, it takes decades to see the aging that you can solve. But the problem with that is a lot of people doesn't have this awareness that literally you will be a lot more aging if you eat high carbs diet, because it's just like so glycating in your tissue, in your blood, which as we know collagen and protein for the for the skin is really crucial for the youthful skin. So this is the reason why carbs aren't like essential at all. They're just like glycating, and also your body, carbs, glucose are still needs for our body. But the thing is, our body only needs 4 grams of glucose, which basically if you eat just literally one bread, you already excess in glucose. But if you want to try low carb diet, especially if you are like in a still teenager, you still growing, then you it's the best idea you consume some dairy, like you consume raw meat, because it's really good for the growth. But if you're already adult, you already stop growing, your plate already closed, so that's it. That's mean is there's no no essential to you to need having a carb, any carb, even though in dairy too. There's like no reason for you to have any carb if you're already adults. But if you're still growing, I really highly recommend to consume raw milk, to consume dairy, raw dairy specifically. But the thing is, don't overconsume them, because dairy has some carbs in it, which basically if you already exceed in 50 grams, you'll be start glycating, and also your ketones production will be decreased. And the second point I want to say is your bodies prefer ketones rather than glucose. It is because, as you want to know, excess of glucose is really toxic. That's why if you has like high blood sugar, your insulin will be spiked up and suppress it down because it's so toxic. Can you imagine you eat a lot of carbs and your blood glucose is like so spiked up, and insulin hormone, which basically from your pancreas will be produce insulin, will be suppressed it down because it's so toxic. And the thing is, high amount of insulin also toxic too. It can cause like insulin resistance, which basically your cells cannot work optimally. So suddenly you will be like crash. You have the energy, then you suddenly crash. You feel like tired. You feel like shit. But if you like do the high fat diet, which are the main energies like ketones, your body will be work much better. You will not experience the crash. You will be like more stable, and the thing is you will not more hungry, and also you will like easily to lose fat, because your energy source is like fat, which are ketones. So it's just like there's no reason for you to eat carbs, because you can get the glucose through glucogenesis, and also carbs can make you glycating, which makes you aging faster, which basic and the third thing is your body prefer ketones as an energy, as a fuel of your body, not glucose. because high amount of excess of glucose literally can cause like high glucose blood level, sorry guys, high glucose blood level in your body, which basically the insulin will be like spike up and trying to suppress it down. So in excess of glucose is considered so toxic. You can Google this. Literally, if you like excess of glucose, you literally can be amputated through diabetes. Literally, if you in your body, in your blood has tons of like glucose, you will get type 2 diabetes, which basically your leg will be get amputated. Can you imagine that? So I think that's it. Why humans aren't like doesn't need carbs at all. Literally not essential, not requirement. And last point is carbs aren't like essential. Carbs aren't like macronutrients. It's not a nutrient because the definition of nutrients is specifically that is required to our body, that's our nourishing to our body, that's our body needs. But carbs, excess of glucose, which basically you don't need to eat any carbs, any glucose at all. They just like cause glycating and cause like high blood, cause like what do you call that? high glucose high glucose blood sugar, something like that, right? I think that's it. Before I'm gonna end this video, I have this link in the description below where I have this online course that I'm gonna spill out all my knowledge about diet and also all I had know. Specifically, I'm still learning, I'm still improving, but I will teach you everything that I know, specifically that are valid, which basically link in the description below. If you specifically, if you want to get a clear skin, if you want to lean down, and most importantly, you want to be more healthy as soon as possible. So yeah, link in the description below. It only like costs like $49. Just give it a try, man. See you later.